the biggest bottlenecks that I've seen for newer wholesalers using the King Closers formula is comping and underwriting while speaking to the seller. Now, this is to be anticipated and expected because comping and underwriting is one of the most difficult skill sets for the majority of wholesalers to even learn over the course of time. So if you're new, it's expected that it's going to be a little bit difficult for you to comp and underwrite just out of the gates. But when we are on the phone with the seller, one of the things I want you guys to really embrace moving forward is that we're not diving super deep into the numbers right out of the gates. Utilizing the 4 seller buckets. The reason why this is important is we want to know, is the initial seller's asking price correct or incorrect? And we're going to do that with a quick comp right out of the gates. It doesn't have to be perfect. We just have to have a general idea of where we need the after repair value to be in order for that initial asking price to be correct or incorrect. Now I'm going to share my screen here and I'm going to showcase a property that we just closed and funded on in Spring Creek, Nevada. Now, I don't even know where Spring Creek, Nevada is, but this is how you would very quickly comp and underwrite this. And the reason why I bring up, I don't know where it is, because a lot of people, they get twisted up about, I've never been to this location. I don't know the local market. You don't need to know the local market. You just need to be able to look at the data that exists utilizing your comp program, whatever it is, Privy, PropStream, Batch, PropWire, whatever it is that you're using. You just need to be able to look and analyze at the data. So let me bring up my screen here. So this property at 147 Birchwood Drive in Spring Creek, Nevada. So I've got it preloaded in both Privy and PropStream, which are the 2 preferred comping systems that we use here at Titanium. Now, we go down to the comparables, we click on it, we very quickly go to settings, we have all, and then single family residence, and then I always want to start out with a 1/4 mile radius. We save that. Now, the way that this conversation should be going down if we're using the closer's formula is, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, I see that you filled out a form or spoke to someone on my team about selling your property at 147 Birchwood Drive. You still looking to sell that? Yes. Awesome. How much are you looking to get for the property? $200,000. Okay. This seller says $200,000. When we are doing a quick comp, what we need to know to identify what seller bucket this seller is going to fall in is if $200,000 is a correct number or an incorrect number. Now, using common sense, if the seller wants $200,000, what do we know we need the after repair values to be starting with at minimum? 300,000, probably even 400,000. So taking a look real quick here, in a 1/4 mile radius, we have 2 properties, similar square footage, right? Our subject is 1492, comp 1, 1483, comp 2, 1407, and we've got a value of 418 and 350. Now, the next thing I want you to pay attention to is the lot size. We're similar, right? It's not like they're selling acreage and we've got a little 1/4 acre lot. We're pretty close. Year built. Now, there's a little bit of an issue here. 1974 is our subject property. 1998, 2015. That's a little bit of an issue. Now, I'm going to go to PropStream real quick. We've got our subject property popped in. We click on details. We then go to comps and nearby listings. 1/4 mile radius. Boom. 418. 140 Birchwood. Same comp that popped up on Privy. We actually have one less on PropStream. Okay. So 418, you scroll over, you'd see similar square foot, similar lot size. Year built is the issue. So what are we going to do? We'll go back to privy. We're going to go to settings. We're going to go to a half-mile radius. We're going to save that. And we're going to see, do we get more comps? All right. So we've got a 1456 square foot at 375,000, 1987. So we came down on year built, right, from 1998, 2015 to 1987, and we see that we've maintained in that high $300,000 range. So the reason why I bring this up is we got a 2015 at 350, 1998 at 418, 1987 at 375, 2012 at 370. This stands to reason that if we were to label and stereotype this neighborhood, this is a $300,000 to $400,000 neighborhood. So if I'm on the phone with this seller and I say, how much are you looking to get for this property? And they say $200,000. I'm going to pull this up. And that's exactly what I would be doing right there. Plug it into privy, plug it into PropStream, whichever one I'm using. Quarter mile. What do I got? I got a 350. I got a 418. All right. What happens if I go to a half mile? I got a 375, a 370. Cool. I'm in a $300,000 to $400,000 neighborhood. I'm not going to get an exact ARV at this point. I just know that the seller's starting price is at $200,000. Now I'm going to solely focus my efforts on determining their motivation. I'm no longer going to be sitting here plugging away, trying to narrow down the exact after repair value. I'm just going to say 200,000 is pretty close to being where I need to be. I need to solely focus on why they need to sell this real estate for 200,000 now and see if I can get them to come down. Now, I don't know exactly how this conversation went down. I haven't listened to it. I don't have a recording of it. But what I do know is that this property was locked up for $170,000 and then eventually disposed for $180,000. We made a $10,000 assignment fee on this property in Spring Creek, Nevada. If you were to do the quick comps of this and have a conversation with a seller, every single day of the week, you're going to be staring at a $350,000 to $418,000 neighborhood. You are going to send that contract for $170,000. Shooters shoot their shot, and that's how you end up disposing a deal in a place in Nevada that you've never heard of before. It's not by sitting there and analyzing the numbers and asking every little idiosyncrasy in regards to the condition of the property. It's by understanding that we're fairly close on price, and if I can truly identify their motivation and dig deeper into why they need to sell this piece of real estate for a discount, I can get it at the price that I need it at. This would be in the four seller buckets what I would consider a highly motivated seller with the correct price. Was $200,000 the absolute price that we were going to send the contract at? No. But $200,000 is close enough to where we need it to be, to where if I just do the bare minimum of understanding and navigating that conversation and potentially hit them with the kill shot at the end, which if you're not familiar with what the kill shot is, it's, all right, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, if we can come to an agreement today, we're going to come out, we're going to do our inspection on the property, verify that everything is what you say it is, and if it is, we'll be good to close at your price and on your timeline. But if it's not, we're going to have to revisit price and timeline. With that being said, if I were to cover all of the closing costs and there's no realtor commissions, what's the best price that you can do for me today? And that typically leads to a 10 to 20% price drop from their initial asking. Now, what's 10 to 20% of $200,000? Well, that's $20,000 to $40,000. And this property ends up getting locked up at $170,000. That is how you end up locking up this property with the initial asking price of $200,000 and you identifying that it lays in the correct price, highly motivated seller bucket. It's not about sitting there and analyzing the numbers until you're blue in the face, because let's be honest, you're probably not going to be accurate on your numbers anyways. So you always need to go into it being conservative on the after repair value, aggressive on your rehab numbers, put in a larger assignment fee than $5,000 or $10,000, put in $20,000. So you build in that buffer where you can actually get contracts that make it to the closing table. So comping and underwriting is one of the greatest skill sets that you can ever develop. But when you get started, don't beat yourself up over it, because you're not going to be accurate. I make mistakes comping and underwriting every single day. The facts are, I go into it with a quick comp, making a decision, and shooting my shot. Now, let me know if you're doing quick comps on your live seller calls. Let me know in the comments. Let me know how that's working out for you. Show me some love, like today's video. We'll see you guys tomorrow.